all right.
Can you make my hair look like this?
Oh, man, what you want to make your hair look like that for?
Will you let the man tee you off? You yap worse than 6 barbers.
Welcome back to another episode of the Your Barber Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Bellotta, a.k.a. Matty Blades on IG. If you're new to the show, please like and subscribe if you would. This is episode 55. Today, my guest is a very special one. He's hailing up in Massachusetts. If you're in the industry, if you're a barber and you're on Instagram, you've more than likely seen this gentleman's memes. He's got the hottest memes in the game. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on Jim Andrews, a.k.a. Jimmy Pope Cuts 968. There he is.
You? What's up?
Thanks for making the time, Jim. How's your day going, my man?
Not bad. I'm just driving all over the place. Grocery store, paint store, Home Depot. Try to squeeze it all in.
Were you painting something, or
We actually closed on a house this month. We're closing on a house, so we're going to be buying a whole bunch of garbage.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to fill it up, right?
I don't know why I'm even going. I'm not picking any colors, any vanity, nothing like that. So
Okay.
really just moral support on my end.
Gotcha.
I think I might be able to pick the office colors.
Yeah, you gotta lend a little bit of an opinion, right? Like, this is
A little
okay,
bit.
right? Just a little validation.
Yeah, gets shot down. I'm like, let's just paint it black, wall to wall,
Right.
and put up hexagon lights on the ceiling in our kitchen. She's like,
Right.
no.
Let's barber it out everywhere, right?
Yeah, that is kind of like barbering it out. Is like there's a vape shop that just opened up near me, like a smoke shop, and it's those lights, graffiti on the walls, and like marble, like epoxy floor. And I'm
There
like,
you go.
if this place goes out of business, it's just instant barbershop right in there. Don't even have to change anything.
I mean, it's cool to see something like that pop up next to a barbershop too, because, you know, whether it's a barber or your clientele, there's a whole lot of vaping going on these days.
Sure. I do have a bit of a tier list of like businesses I would like to have adjacent to the barbershop.
Yeah.
And that's not on the top 5. I'll start off right there. It's like convenience store or something, some bodega, maybe a coffee shop. You can get like good coffee. You can maybe combo it with like one of those Italian deli pastry coffee places. Just squeeze it all into one.
Get a little
You know?
That's all
prosciutto,
anybody ever talks about is prosciutto.
a little
I think
salt.
I would survive. I'd be able to survive without the vape right next door.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't hate it. But it definitely looks like a barbershop inside. I'm kind of waiting for that style to go away. What about you? It's kind of like I kind of like a more classic, like a lot of wood grain, like kind of like whiskey lounge, cigar lounge kind of stuff going on.
No doubt. Yeah, I feel like it's starting to phase itself out. You're not seeing a bunch of guys going and then sending their vape cloud.
No,
tornado.
definitely not.
Yeah, that's more of a 2016 thing, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah.
But
I feel like the hex lights are on their way out, dude.
yeah, the hex lights.
That's gonna
I don't
be
know.
that's an investment that I think is gonna be a quickly dating itself.
Yeah, as soon as like 2 go out, you're like, God, why did I do this?
I wanted to do like pinstripes on the ceiling at the shop, like instead, like get the same kind of like lights and just go
Yeah.
like 45-degree pinstripes along the entire shop.
A little bit of a different pattern.
Yeah, something that just everybody's got the hex lights. It's like it's funny because it's like when it's all first done and the floor is polished, it looks amazing, I'm sure. But like
Right.
once that style is done, it's like, damn, we have really got to do some construction in here.
No doubt. Yeah, it's a copycat league in a way, barbering. I mean, you know, we all kind of take a piece from somewhere. We've seen it before if we do it 90% of the time. You know, of course, we all got the baseline foundation, but all the little tips, all the little tricks, you know, we tend to grab.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, it does have a little bit of utility. The lighting is great, but
Yeah.
I just like
No,
having
I mean,
a little ring light.
So you're in the. It looks like you're in the shop. Are you at the shop right now, or
No,
is this?
this is like my green screen going on.
Okay. So is
But this
a
is the
green screen
shop.
of the shop though?
That is the shop, yeah.
Okay. So before we hopped on, you were talking about you got a couple spots.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. There's one in Billerica and there's one in Somerville because our owner lives in Billerica, so he hopped on a little spot as soon as his actually one of our buddies opened up a tattoo place up there, and then in the same like plaza location, this one was open too, and it was a salon, so hopped right in.
There you go.
But it's good, a lot of space, laundry on site. Did that one green? I think you just copy like the local high school colors. Try to keep it local. So this one's red, Somerville red.
Okay.
And it's just
Now what
fast, you can
shop are
see from
you
the street.
placed in? Do you sort of hop
Somerville.
around?
I might start hopping around. I might try to do like one day a week at the other one.
Just to experiment, see if it makes sense.
Yeah, well, I figure if I condense my clientele in one location to a couple days and just kind of force scarcity and then build up in another one. I mean, the more, like I said, I don't live like in town with the shop anymore, and we're buying a house down here. So it's like the more mobile I can make myself, where it's like if I cut one down and then you can build up the other one, it'll be half the work if you already have half a clientele there, you know? So, and then if we have a third one, maybe move it farther south, who knows? But definitely not opposed to hopping around, get some clienteles in some different cities.
Okay. That makes sense. So with the house, I mean, like, when do you move into it?
June.
June. That's coming quick, dude.
Oh yeah, it's done. So we're closing the end of this month, and then we got like 3 weeks to do any painting and any stuff like that, furniture moving. So yeah, it's gonna be hell. And I'm getting married in September, so this whole year is kind of just toast.
Yeah, so you were kind of talking before. I think it's a beautiful thing where two people kind of in the industry are together, and you know, you're getting a house and just kind of leveling through life, leveling up a little bit. We were talking a little before. Your fiance, I guess, is also in the industry, right?
Yeah. She's in the game. She does hair. She does makeup. She does like weddings. I mean, her like territory, I guess you could call it, is down in like Bristol and Rhode Island, which is kind of like between Barrington and Newport. That's where it is. All her weddings are down there. It's like crazy wedding area. It's where like Tyler Swift's house she just bought, where the breakers and all the old money in the country were like no one lives there anymore, but it's all like their houses are all mausoleums now.
Right.
I think you can tour their houses.
Yeah, it's good to have kind of a upper class clientele sometimes. You know, sometimes you can't.
For weddings, yeah, you can't beat that.
Right. Sometimes you can't relate to these people. I want to get into that. That was a topic.
Oh, I love it. I can relate to any. That's why this job is so easy for me, because it's like you just like psyop constantly, just chameleon, CIA operation, every customer. I'm going to figure out what makes you tick, what you like, what you don't like, and we're talking about that, dude. Because I run through a lot of barbers that are like incapable of talking to people if they like disagree with them, or if they're not interested in the same thing, or they're combative. It's like, dude, I did like a joke right after the election. It was like, whoever you voted for, I voted for.
Yeah, it's like whoever they said, that's great, good for you, man. I kind of lean that way. No.
You got to do it.
You got to be the chameleon, man. I've always said that.
Yeah,
I use the CIA agent thing more with like when I'm out in public with my kid at the grocery store and shit. I'm like, babe, you didn't notice that? I saw it from 10 miles away. Like, Jesus Christ.
Well, dude, like everything they do is like, and I've been really going down a rabbit hole of like books and podcasts with these guys. And it's like up until you're like convincing someone to kill somebody or like commit treason of their country, it's all just likability psychology, like getting them to like you,
100%.
Getting them to let their guard down for you. And then you take that extra step and be like, here, put this in the guy's drink. But right before that point is where I feel like we're perfect. We're like, I need my customers to be like related to me mentally on their level, you know?
Yeah, you always try to find common ground. And if you can't, you just spin them towards the TV.
That's how I treat the kids.
Right.
I put the Bluey on and spin them towards the TV.
That's what you got to do, man.
I do like hate cutting kids' hair sometimes, but I have like some clients where it's like my clients' kids that I'll cut their hair.
Yeah.
And for the most part, if like a kid just comes in, like walk in or a call in, I'll try to like slide that over to like another barber in the shop and just, oh, you're slow today. Like take this because it's terrible.
Yeah, dude, I haven't had to do a haircut in like 3 years, a kid haircut, and their
head's too small, dude. I can't do it.
I just started doing them again, and it's like, oh my god, I'm telling every mom about this. Like,
yeah, that's why, like I say, like I don't mind doing my clients' kids, but it's like once it's like a thing, it's over. The back of their head, it's like that, like they have like that divot behind their neck. And I need them to look down. I need them to look
like tight right there. It's like when you
they want to look up. They want to like look at themselves in the mirror, and I'm like, you got to look down. So I started taking like $1 bill and I put it under their chin, and I'm like, if this thing doesn't fall, you can keep it. just like put their head down.
You want to talk about getting them engaged? That'll do it.
I just tell them like Spider-Man gets his haircut here,
right?
And that usually takes care of it. Or like we used to have, like you can see above me, like we like got new mirrors, so we're not like stacked on the stickers anymore. But like I would have like a Batman sticker or like a Captain America sticker, and I'd be like, that's Iron Man, and they'll be like, no, it's not, and they're just totally not even worried about the haircut anymore.
Right. Then their neck gets even tighter. The valley gets deeper. You're like,
oh yeah. Yeah, they're like, it's funny how like they're such a pain in terms of like moving and itching and everything, but you can just distract them. Like just say something about comic book characters say whatever the character is, but the wrong name, and they'll just totally fixate on that and correct you.
100%. Or
like whatever their age is, every single solitary kid that comes in, it'll be like, how old are you? And they'll be like 7. They'll be like 27. And they'll be like, no, dude. They just fucking lose it.
So before we get any further, we're going to get into your background a little bit. I always got kind of an opening segment called Just an Observation, right? We're observational in the shop. Sometimes I notice things I do as a barber that are very just barber things, barber-ish, avenues. And every time my wife puts me in these situations where I'm the only person that's not in like academia in the room, and I just feel like I gotta like go to bat for barbering. Like I'm like, these people just don't get it. Let me try to incorporate it.
What does she do?
Conversation. Right?
Well, what does she do?
My wife's a professor, so she's at Georgia State. She just got tenure, so that's the good news we got. So we're kind of
what's her subject matter? What's she in there for?
So it's kind of ranged. She's like world languages. She teaches Spanish, more or less.
Okay,
she gets into like women and gender studies. She gets into gaming. It's just like representation and gaming. She had a class. She's hard to keep track of.
There's a lot of classes going on. I went to college, so I kind of straddle it a little bit.
Yeah, I was a college dropout. Like I got to the point to where there was just no more degrees or paths left where you can't take a math.
Yeah,
so I'm like, I guess I'm out, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of stuck to like my degree is like management based, so it's kind of a stupid degree to begin with. And it's like it's the kind of degree that like when you get your job from like you graduate, they're kind of like, forget everything that we taught you. We're going to teach you how to work here.
Right.
So it's like from day one, it was like, this is the stupidest decision I've ever made.
Right. So do you ever feel that though? Like in public, you're like, well, I actually have a client that said this. Oh, client, what do you do? Oh, I'm a barber. So, I'm not this guy where you just think it's a $10 haircut or it's just, guys bullshit. And it's more than that. Like,
yeah. I don't know. I never like that always, I talk a lot. So this job is kind of perfect for me anyway.
Yeah.
But it's there's never like a point when someone's like, there's a conversation gap to the point where someone's going to be like, oh, what do you do for work? It's always seems to come like so much later. And by that time, I've just like beaten them down so much with like whatever we're arguing about or having a conversation about that like it's irrelevant. Because I feel like anybody in their 30s is kind of like, you're either like okay with admitting that like it was a mistake for you to go to college, or even if it wasn't, you're like, it was a mistake for most people to go to college.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like our generation in general is a little bit less like, definitely Gen Z, probably less judgmental of people who didn't go to college. Whereas like our parents' generation is very like, if you don't go to college, this is a big problem.
Yeah. Don't do what I did. It's
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? Just open your own business and enjoy life? What do you mean? Like,
Well, it's like everybody I know that just like, because I went to Evoke High School, and like at the high school, the guidance counselors, I'd be like, I think I want to go. What was the degree? Some college. I had to like switch up at the last minute because I did electrical in high school, and it was like
a
you
tech,
gotta,
tech center
yeah.
or something.
So I was like, the guidance counselor at the school, and it was a Vogue school. She would say that shit where she was like, "You don't want to be like a plumber, do you? Like you want to go to school?" And I know now, looking back, that it's like they got funding based on how many of their graduates went to college and blah, 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 all the way up.
Right.
So it's a whole fucking scam. But it's like to some degree, it is. To some degree, it's probably legitimate. Depends on what you study, but insofar that like they get money for sending you to college, that part of it is a scam. Every plumber I've ever met makes 3 times as much money as a guidance counselor at a high school.
Because
everybody I've ever met, HVAC, electrical, building, anything, they all have like boats. For some reason, everyone that does a trade has like a boat or an RV or something.
Dude, you just bought a house. Who the fuck are you about to call when you need help? These fucking people.
Exactly. I mean, I know some people that do some work. I can do some stuff, but it's like those guys, none of those guys are hurting for money ever.
No.
At the earliest age. They'll be 24 and it's like, oh, they just did 4 years of paid training. Like,
right.
They're doing great. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, you didn't get
you want to
be
be
3 underages. You didn't spend all your fucking like book money on fucking drugs.
Yeah,
you know, the other
I don't
college
know.
experience.
That's stuck in my mind is this guidance counselor, because it's like it's kind of like that Biggie movie when he's like, I found out a garbage man makes more than you. The teacher,
your broke
like,
ass.
Yeah, it's like why is, because they're adults. Like that woman, that guidance counselor, she was a whole adult. She knew how much fucking money plumbers make. A lot. So what the hell was up with that? That was a scam.
Maybe I'm into plumbing. That's my dream. You don't want to do that.
You know they're cooking for money. It's just like,
right.
You graduate and everybody's like, actually, these people all make way more money than all of these people that I know that are doing something weird in college. I'm like totally convinced that like 90% of college degrees are just like waste of money.
Right. Yeah.
You got like some core stuff you need. And the waste of money, meaning like as a return investment. I'm not saying like there's like college studies that I would be interested in that would make me not a dime. Right. But like, you know, you're going to be a doctor. Yeah. You're going to get a job. You know, you're going to be a tax attorney. It's not that, you know, that's not a sexy job, but like they're never going to be out of work.
Yeah. My clients, I mean, most of the time I'm just like, are you happy? I just got this new job. I've been working this job, but do you like it? Are you happy? Well, the benefits are good. Okay. Is that going to make you happy at the end of you're going to look back?
They're
40 years from now and say, fuck. It was all about those benefits.
That's why I do this now. I had that exact conversation like with my barber that owns the shop.
There you go.
I was like, are you fucking happy? It's like, do you like coming to work every day?
Yeah.
That's basically all it took. I was like, okay, I'll do this.
And that's the same thing too with like what we see on social media. Here's what you have to do. Here's the top 5 mistakes that barbers make. And it's like, you know what? You know, mistake I made listening to this dumb shit barbers are saying. Like, I'm having a good time doing what I enjoy, the pace I enjoy it at, and how I'm operating it. And that's the beautiful part. Like everyone has a certain situation.
All that advice and stuff, it's like that's for people who need that.
Right, of course.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like when people are like, why is public education only teaching people how to be employees instead of teaching them how to be entrepreneurs, right? There's always like conversations like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, because people need to be fucking employees. Right.
Yeah,
like
no, I mean,
you need most people to be able to be employee. If you're like an entrepreneurial person, you need to cut loose and break out and do your own thing.
right.
You don't need to be taught how to do that. You need the established structure over here to cut loose from.
Yeah.
Right. So like to even be like, oh, why don't we teach how to break loose from the structure instead of the structure? It's like because they need the structure to break loose from.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, and like
taking the
everyone likes to
advice.
jump steps, and so you have to experience every angle of it to see what you don't want to, and how you need to pivot out of it.
Also, not to get like super social media, but like the whole like 3 tips for this or don't do these 3 things videos. It's literally like reverse engineering how the algorithm works.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's all
oh, you need a
algorithms.
hook. What's a hook? It's something at the beginning that's going to tell them what the whole video is about. And then you just like, I don't know, chat GPT 3 tips and then just make a video. That's why like there's a new trend I've been seeing that's even like lazier than making the video, where they just take B-roll of themselves like in the shop and they're like, do these 3 things, read it in the caption.
Right.
So it won't even be in the video.
Right.
They won't even be like really talking and be like, these are the 3 things. They'll just be like, do this, and it'll just be them like cutting B-roll, total B-roll. And then they'll copy and paste chat GPT into their captions. That's how like people are just there's now a whole social media game teaching people how to do the social media thing.
Right.
Where
Like,
it's like do this, not
the
that.
sheep are sometimes like always going to be the sheep with that. Like it's like,
Right,
do you
right.
realize they're just fishing for engagement here? This is what this fucking shit is. Like it's not that serious. Like,
That's like the thing with like the thing that I hope never happens to like us with these like trying to do funny videos and trying to do jokes and shit is like it's just we try to replicate the vibe of being in the shop. That's just how we're acting all day, is joking, having fun.
Yeah.
And I hate when someone comes out with like they're doing content and they're doing every like those those Costco guys.
Yeah.
So like they have been on social media for years. That guy has been on for years. And then like I guess it's like a good conversation about like luck versus like whatever. Like, yeah, it's luck, but it's like he was doing every single trend for years. Yeah. And then one of them finally caught on that stupid, we're Costco, because they didn't make that up. Like everybody did that. We're substitute teachers. Of course we drink 3 coffees. Like everybody was doing that video. Yeah. And then theirs blew up. But then their whole channel turned into Costco guys.
Yeah.
There's guys like that in Boston. There's like this, the Prosciutto Poppy and Tommy Guarino, and they're like humongous. They're doing like Mark Wahlberg courtside at the Celtics, but they did those deli behind the counter at this place, New Deal up in Revere in Massachusetts. Yeah. And those videos, a couple of them blew up. So for a year straight, it was like, we're doing deli videos. It's like, I never want to get to the point where like something pops off and then I'm like, got to do that video for the next 10 days.
Stuck.
I'm like, I feel like you should be funny enough that it's just like, if you have like 5 or 6 separate things go viral, then I think there's a little bit more of a, like, people are going to follow you because you're just making funny shit. Like, how long can you possibly follow someone doing the same tap dance? Just because it went viral one time.
We see it all the time. People like come and blow up barbering into the scene, and then you're just like, what the fuck happened to that guy? Like, remember Cut Flow Dre? The guy was like rapping his shit, and I'm like,
we were talking.
I haven't seen that guy's videos in like 2 years. What the fuck? And then I'm like, oh, he's still cutting. He's just
we were talking like like on the podcast. The last one we did was we were talking about who are those guys in the UK. Rum Barber. You remember Rum Barber?
Probably if I saw.
They were like these YouTube. They did like mad clipper reviews and tool reviews, and then they did like they were UK guys. So they were kind of on that like section God shit before everybody else.
Right.
Where it was just 100 sections and clips on the head.
Right.
And then like all at once, I think the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm done with social media," and he just like deleted his channel.
Dude,
mad.
Like, gotta get. There's we all hit a point where we get fucking disgusted with IG, right? Like there's a moment where you take a step away, and when I see it done like gracefully, like what's his name? Righteous Barber. That guy took a break and then he's back like on his content, he's doing new shit, he feels energized.
Sometimes
like, it's energizing when you take a break.
some people take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Like they're like, I need to take a step back from this. It's like, this isn't even anything. This is nothing. This is just like I said, like you do this all day anyway.
Right.
The
It's
whole
like
thing
that
with
Seinfeld clip, like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
What
with us
are we
doing the
What in God's name are we
if you
doing?
let it try that hard to where it's like a stressor on you, I get it. But it's like with us, like my girl says that all the time. She's like, do you guys even work? You're just making videos. It's a fucking production house.
Right.
And I'll be like, whatever the video of like me just throwing a cape over Larry, we record for like 30 seconds. Like that takes like 5 minutes.
Seriously, yeah.
This type of stuff is not like gonna burn me out. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's
there, and like
that's how I got with the podcast, dude. This is episode 55. I got through the majority of these episodes in year one. I probably pumped out like 38, 40, and then I was like, dude, I gotta focus on my business. Like, I gotta like, I'm about to like do my own thing here. I gotta fucking go do the laundry. Fuck editing the podcast.
Yeah,
like,
editing,
you know?
like clip, like when we did ours, it was like we did it at you know Uplift, the product people, they do like pomade and they do different stuff.
Oh, okay. I may have seen that when I tapped in and checked out.
Yeah. But we are doing it at the guy that started that brand's shop, which is like a little bit north of Boston. Like he does tons of production and photo and stuff for his education stuff that he does and the products. So his buddy had all the cameras and mics and like a Rodecaster. So it's a pretty sick setup to be able to just get on there. I think the next one we might go set up
some
at
of
like
these studios are like ready to rock for you, right? Like they'll kind of.
We just did it at the shop.
Nice. Okay. So
we just did it at the shop.
The
Yeah. And then we just mounted the mics to like barber chairs. We just sat around the shop. It's funny because he had a location like above his shop that was like he's renting it out to a couple of girls for a salon space.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like if this had been like a month and a half earlier, we could have just set up a permanent space up here.
Yeah, the pod and
just
everything.
The desk. But I think we're going to move it around for a while in the beginning. Like we might try to film something quick at CT. Are you going to CT?
I'm not going to CT.
You're not getting up there.
I just
it's far. You know, yeah.
If I had it, so I feel a certain type of way about expos. Like if you're part of the expo, like that's great. Like that's a very fortunate scenario to be in. Good for you. If you got a crew of guys you're going with, you got Airbnb.
It's expensive. It's at the casino. I'm making it into a weekend. Me and my fiance are going. She's gonna
go
do
the
spa
Make
stuff.
a trip out of it. That makes sense.
But my whole thing is like I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to say I don't want to go to the education stuff because there's a lot of good stuff there. But I mean, my main goal is like networking. Trying to talk to some of the brands, some of the Clipper brands, you know, a couple of the guys that I've been interacting with online, try to meet them in person.
Have you got offered anything yet in terms of?
No. I'm like hoping to try and make some connections there.
I'm surprised
because I'm just trying to like put all the energy into getting as much interactions as I can because I know the importance of that. And I also am. Oh, yeah, we're filming a ton. I want to try and get more education stuff going. This is going to be like a complicated year with all this stuff because it's like
just
we do
everything up at the wall, see what sticks.
We're going to try and do like 4 videos this year because we did this video. The kid that owns the shop did one like years ago in Davis Square in Somerville. It's a big square in town, subway station, everything like food, students everywhere. And there's a big like brick area. It's like a sidewalk, but it's extended out. So it's kind of like a weird courtyard. So we set up over there and just did haircuts.
Nice.
He did this years ago. And it's kind of like almost like a music video, kind of like you just kind of edited in cuts and people. And I want to do another one, but I almost want to do like some kind of side talk New York, like just go yak at these fucking, because it's just a city. So this is the wildest people are just out all day. You can ask some questions. But I want to do 4 of them at like a few different locations and maybe hit up some of these brands that have a lot of mobile barbering stuff, see if they want to get involved or just do one and then go to them and show and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Every once in a while, I'll sprinkle in like if we get like something new, I'll do like a video for it, which I'm not like sponsored or paid, but it's like I like to put stuff out to show, yeah, I can do a video like this if you wanted me to.
Right.
Like that whole education thing, it's like 90% of that is just your presence in front of people.
Right.
That's why the education stuff on YouTube's so big because it's like the best of the best educators will float to the top. But a lot of those guys might not be great on a stage at an expo.
Right.
which is where you get a lot of sales out of, especially with like, it's even bigger in like the salon stuff. Like if you do like education events and like everyone that's in salons in the area show up and it's like you represent some color or something like that, and then you're teaching with that one. If you can convert a bunch of salons to that color, it's like those events are how these brands like sell. So the education is so much more important to the brands than to people than they realize.
Yeah. And dude, just keeping up with the podcast too. I mean, that might land in the right person's, lap.
Oh yeah. It's fun. I mean, it's just like I said, like what we do in the shop, just the kind of talking.
Bullshitting, dude. It's
first couple episodes, I'm figuring it's just like work the kinks out, work the awkwardness out. But it's like it'll probably like lean less into, because we talked about a lot of barbering stuff first time around, which is tough to avoid. We're all barbers.
Of course.
We're in a barber shop. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like it'll probably be closer to like less barber talk and more just general.
Yeah, you gotta get all that stuff out of the way. You'll figure out your lane. I mean, I feel like I've morphed the brand of my podcast a few times. Dude, I tried a sports thing. Like, I didn't even try it. Like, I was just like, it's the playoffs. I've always wanted to do a sports podcast. Let's fucking have an edition where we're just like talking about sports betting for the NFL playoffs. Fucking had a blast with it. It was a great time.
As long as you have like the platform set up and you got the graphics, you have the intro, you have everything, you could just kind of do one-offs. That's why I like putting the first one out. I was barely like, I don't care what the intro music is, what the logo is. I'm just going to try to get one in the can so that I just want to rip off the reels for like shorts. You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, you can make a lot from an hour podcast. In terms of clips.
I made like probably like 40 clips. I think I've only uploaded like 10 of them.
Dude, you're going ham with the clips. I was like, hey.
Dude, you know what's funny is like we asked the guy to run it through that AI like BS that makes the clips for you. It sucks.
I was gonna say, does it work? Because
it kind of works, but then like some of our, because we have like a 3-camera setup.
Yeah.
So like it's one camera on all 4 of us, and then there's like
stack them. Yeah.
Well, one camera's facing 2 and one camera's facing 2. So the clip will either be all of us, 2 of us, or 2 of us. So if it like automatically picks one person, it'll zoom in on them and it'll stack them vertically. But sometimes it'll zoom in between 2 people. So it'll be like one of us talking, but it'll just be like the space in between us.
Right.
So it's kind of dumb. It knows the camera angle to pick, but it doesn't know to like who to focus on. So it tries to focus on both of us.
I see.
But I just do it myself. Like I just like duplicate the clips, like format it 9:16 tall and like stack the people on their sides so that they're kind of like vertical. Like if I turn this into a clip,
learning that stuff to do yourself, like it's it's a great
I've always kind of messed around with that kind of like video editing. I used to do tons of music production. It's pretty similar.
Yeah, I had a class in high school. We made the morning announcements, and then I was like the technical director. So like I just incoherently really kind of learned all this stuff back in high school in a way. And who knew that barbering, and I'd fall into that, and there'd be such a parallel there with those two things.
All that software stuff I pick up pretty quick.
Yeah, I just do the like simple ones. Like I don't get into Premiere. I tried, and I'm like, I'm not going to fucking school for this shit, dude. I'm done with college.
I used to have like I used to use Vegas, like Sony Vegas.
Okay, yeah, I mean you're leaps and bounds ahead of me already.
And it was, I think I got it on like a Humble Bundle or something, and then now I just literally use CapCut.
Yeah, CapCut's king.
It's fine. I have the desktop version.
Oh, you mess with the desktop a little bit.
Well, I have the pro versions like $10 a month because I like using it for. So that's what I use for like throwing out memes just daily, because it's got like a template section of just every green screen thing that's ever existed.
Okay.
And just like throw a barbershop behind it, put some text. It's like this is the most low impact way to just keep your algorithm pumped every day.
Just keep it rolling.
And then also it's like you don't have to do like we do some skit videos. It's not like stressing you out to do something every single day.
Yeah, and get creative and come up with that stuff. Like, dude, your memes have cut through. Like that's how people have discovered you in a lot of ways.
I think like 3 of the 5 of my last 30 days, like most viewed, were those.
Okay.
But then 2 of the top 3 were skit videos. So it's like I feel like they get a lot of views too. That they're just, some of them just like the weirdest stuff just blows up.
It is. That's the way it goes. Like
you
just something you had in drafts that you forgot about, and it's like
Yeah,
let's
the
throw that out.
weirdest videos will just blow up. There's another guy in Mass down in like I think he's like near Fall River or something. This dude Corey Rios.
Dude, I was gonna bring up that kid. I was like,
He's
that's
been
the other
doing
kid
mad
kind of doing
skits.
it right now. You two are like the ones cutting through at like the tier you guys are at.
I was
Those
talking
are
to
the
him
people I
on
gravitate towards.
yeah, I was talking to him on Instagram. I was like, we got to do like collab or something. I think they might be
100%.
going to CT, so we might try to do a video. But
Absolutely, link up with him.
but one of the guys that works in his shop was actually at like an education thing Rocco was doing with Uplift like a couple weeks ago. So I was talking to him. I was like, oh, you work at this kid's shop. It's funny how like these dudes just show up and then like you realize like, oh, like I can put a face to the name on Instagram.
Yeah, and like you guys don't have hundreds of thousands of followers either. Like you can still be impactful and not like be these fucking, huge, So it's funny. I was gonna bring up the pissed off barber earlier.
Oh, dude, we were talking about him on the pod, yeah.
Everything being a bit. I'm like, no, why does no one understand this fucking guy? It's been a bit since day one.
Yeah,
and he's just gone the whole way with it. Like,
because we were talking about that because like Rocco is like buddies with Jay Majors. Obviously, we're all from this area,
right?
And it's like it's another thing that helps out too. Just being able to do the cast with him and this guy like Steve, there's another barber from Boston. It's like these guys are kind of light poles, just connected to the industry. Like,
of course,
so it does work in our favor. Like, we'll post some highlights from the cast and like I'll kind of put some edits on it. And we were like the last one we posted, it was like we were talking about like the barber Illuminati and it was like right. What's his name? Because there was another one that we posted. We were talking about Victorino Stylo.
Okay, yeah.
And it was like he kind of got on there because there's a girl in the area that does modeling for him. She has like kind of short dyed hair, Puerto Rican girl, I think. So she'll do modeling for him. I met her at a class. I was like, oh yeah. She does a lot of like stimulation stuff. Like she's like certified for like doing autistic kids haircuts and stuff. I think her son has autism. Yeah. And like she does stuff with the Spanish speaking podcast and the barber game and like Victorino, because he does all his events Spanish, Puerto Rican dude, which is his own niche. Yeah. But then we did that one and we all kind of follow each other and follow the same people. So it gets in front of the right people and like he'll be commenting on it. And like Bossio is going back and forth and Jay Majors is making like Illuminati jokes. And it's like all that stuff helps the engagement when you got those kind of accounts like replying, sharing, and then their people can see it. So it's definitely helping out.
So before we dive any further, let's get into your background, dude. Let's get into your personal life a little bit. People want to know the real Jim Andrews. So where were you born, number one, man? Let's start there.
Born in Plymouth, Mass. So
okay, so you're kind of the
country's hometown.
There you go. So
that's where it all started.
How far away is that from where you are now?
From where I am now, it's like an hour.
Okay, so
it's like right before the Cape. Right before the Cape.
Okay, just close enough, but yet still far away enough to experience it all and have some perception, right?
Everybody like that in Massachusetts. Like mad people around here live in like New Hampshire and like work in Boston.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's just crazy commutes all around because the real estate's just crazy around here. I mean, it's insane. If you look at Boston, there's like two highways that kind of like radiate around it. And it's kind of like this big moat around the city. And then like the rest of Massachusetts, no one cares about. And like with the Western Mass and stuff. And it's like, if you try to do like a Zillow and put like $500,000 as like your lowest or your highest price, there's not a single home in that circle. It's just like it's like a 30-mile ring of like, everything's like closer to $1 million.
Right.
So it's definitely rough. I can see why everyone commutes in from either New Hampshire or the South Shore.
100%, dude.
But yeah, did that thing, did the Vogue school, went to school. I went to UMass Lowell for a year for like music production and audio engineering.
Dude, that's it's interesting because I've always like thought, I'm like, I wonder if I should have did that with my life. Because that's probably the other thing like I would be obsessed with. Like just have you seen fucking Don Cannon? He's got that series where he's just like backtracking some like classics, just like fucking put on with Young Jeezy. Like let's
see it.
Oh, dude, it's incredible. They're
I got
both
to
like
see
Cool
it.
and Dre breaking down how they made Hate It or Love It. Like,
I
and
love
just,
that kind of stuff. I love like
dude,
the behind the
yeah.
scenes and the production.
Like when we found the sample, we pulled it. We just knew from the album cover it was gonna be like shit like that.
Some of them are like embarrassing, and some of them are really good. Like, because some of the
Yeah.
songs, it's just like I saw a video like that of oh man, it was like DJ Mustard,
Yeah.
how he did like a YG song, and it was like he just did nothing. Like he's just like we just put the drums on it, and then like the drums were already done when the
Yeah.
song came in, so I just added the bells.
Yo, it was a Fruity Loops fucking thing
Yeah.
there the whole time. Like,
Yeah. Fruity
Yeah,
Loops, dude, that's a throwback. It's so crazy to see what Fruity Loops has become because we used to use that in college as like a
Right.
bullshit like side software for like drumming.
then I have like fucking 15 versions. Like it just kept coming out. Like,
Well, now it's FL Studio.
yeah, now it's just FL Studio.
Back
yeah.
then, it was just literally just called Fruity Loops, and we used to use it as like a drummer because it had like a pretty cool like digital drummer.
Yeah, you could do a bunch of shit with it. I mean, yeah. Some people, some of these producers still kind of like go back or they save something from that. Like, you know,
I can't use it. I don't like that kind of. It's like a sample based kind of like loop based software.
yeah.
I'm more of like a arranger. I don't know if I'm getting too
Yeah,
technical.
Yeah, composer.
I use like
or,
Ableton
not
and stuff.
composer, the fucking like the maestro of it. You can kind of like arrange shit together.
Yeah, I don't like it because I like if something's like gonna be going on in between parts, it's kind of a pain in the ass to do it with FL.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like more similar to like an MPC.
Yeah, dude, like it's funny doing this podcast, the amount of barbers I've interviewed that have some sort of musical past. Like I had, I had this guest dude. He's like, so I got signed with RZA from the Wu-Tang. Wait, what? When did you start with that? What the fuck? We brought that up an hour and a half in the pod.
Yeah, that kid that owns the shop. Like when I first met him, we were talking music because he's a singer, so he does like a lot of like pop, kind of R&B, hip hop style, like singing stuff.
Yeah.
So it was it's like tons of us just doing music. I
don't
know what it is.
I've always had the ear. I've always fucked around DJing, do my own thing. But my project is more to get my daughter to kind of take those chances and take those leaps.
Yeah.
And I've been playing around, getting her in just like kids NPCs and shit, and she's taken to it. And she's got an ear. Like in the car, she'll be like mimicking a certain noise that's like, layered within. I'm like, that's what you hear when you hear this? I'm like, that's great, honey.
If you get them into it super young, it's like you're so much more pliable at that age. Like
I didn't have any artistic influence in my life growing up. Like I just want to make sure that like that thing's scratched for her. Like I just want her to have a chance to get artistic in some type of way, because
even like as a mechanic, like Chinese kids have such a higher proclivity to be perfect pitch, which is like those people are kind of psychos. Like I don't know if it's exactly perfect pitch or more relative pitch, but it's like, because perfect pitch people, you could like throw a book at a wall and they could tell you what the note was. Yeah. But because like Mandarin is a tonal language, so like they grow up having to discern like the same word, but like with a different inflection on it. So they're much more sensitive to like multiple sounds and having to discern between them. So they end up with
of their parents making them learn piano.
Yeah, but at that age, it's like you're just drilling in. Like kids' music in general in the West is like detrimental.
Yeah, no,
not detrimental, but it's like if you want them to know like deeper music theory, it's like the worst thing you could feed a kid's ear, because it's very simple. So the basket of like where you, because like I said, if you're learning Mandarin as a kid, like your baskets in your brain for like sounds is so much more expansive. So when you hear them in songs, you could kind of identify them because you've been hearing. There's a difference between a C sharp and a C. Okay. If my mom says something and it goes upwards at the end, it means something different than if she goes downwards at the end. Like, so they kind of get that worked out really early on.
Have you heard?
Whereas like in American music, it's simpler. It's just not there.
Have you heard of this like software? It's called like but can't remember the name of it. But basically, your vocals, it makes a tone out of it. Like you can make a whole song just from like boop, 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 like, and it'll it'll like make that. Like
I think I've
thought about,
seen like ads for them. Yeah,
it's called like Vocala or something like that.
there's probably a dozen of them. It's
yeah.
probably just some like AI software that like made the leap, and now a bunch of them will come out.
100%.
That always happens.
About get her into that,
software.
like.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the thing is like people do that all the time. Like they'll beatbox their way through a song to get the idea out, and then like that's like what like
thing.
Timbaland does that. Yeah. I was about to say.
I think it's like they call it the junkyard. Just all the sounds he made, like with his mouth or like hitting something. Like
Michael Jackson used to do that.
Don Cannon things.
Michael Jackson did that, dude.
Okay, there you go.
He would like you can find videos of him from the '80s where he just like is beatboxing a whole song. And then like they kind of layer over it. Like that's the Timbaland thing. But he ended up after a while like leaving in some of his like beatbox kind of audio.
Yeah.
I mean, guys
are also cool to like figure out they're like right hand men when it comes to like drums or like it's just not always the one person. There's typically a little bit of a team involved.
Never. Especially depending on like the kind of person. Like a guy like Timbaland is such a drumming producer.
Yeah.
Like his drums are crazy. And then a guy like Scott Storch is just totally a keyboard guy to the point where like he'll have an assistant with him. If you look up videos of Scott Storch in the studio, there's always someone like running the session. Yeah. And he just is like smoking a joint, sitting in front of a keyboard, just ripping riffs. Like that's how he got on
Still
with Dr.
DRE.
Dre, just going and playing, dude.
Yeah, he like the Still DRE riff, like Dre heard in another room when he was riffing. He's like, What the fuck was that? Go back.
Yeah. Because he was on with the Roots.
The Roots. A lot of people.
He wrote that song with like Erykah Badu and the Roots. He wrote that song, and then he went out. He was like, meet with Dre, and he's like, let me see your beats, because like back then, especially producers just had beats on them at all times. And he was like, I don't know. I figured we just play something, which is like, you know, you kind of would prefer to hear that from a guy because it's like you're a musician. This isn't just like some buttons you're pushing, like. And he would just rip off like. There's just riff after riff, which that's the kind of thing where it's like if there's like a line in the sand between like kind of sample based guys, like you got guys like Alchemist and Derringer that are like, you know, or Static Selecta, which is like crazy beats, like legendary beats, but it is like sampled stuff. It's DJ stuff.
Very sample heavy.
Whereas like Scott Storch is writing everything. It's all writing,
which is hard to come up with. I mean, that's like Cool and Dre too. Look, I was bringing up earlier. A lot of their early stuff, like New York. It's they made that from scratch. Like it's not a lot of samples. It's
also why you can afford to have this guy have like somebody running his session for him, because it's like what he brings to the table is just like so much more important. Like the drums can just be, you know, attuned to whatever he's doing at the time.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't exist without him.
So what was childhood like to where you kind of got interested into these things? Like was there artistic influence, or what was being a kid like for you, Jim?
I mean, I don't know. My parents aren't like musicians or artistic, but they would just push us into stuff like sports, music, this, that. I had like an aunt on my dad's side that had a piano. Oh. And we would do like the do, re, mi stuff, but it wasn't like I didn't really like do it a lot. I did band in like elementary school and in middle school.
Yeah.
But it was like orchestra band. And I'd like bounce around like 2 or 3 instruments and landed on the drums. So I played drums since like 4th grade.
Yeah, I played the
and
snare.
Then like
That's
I did all the percussion like through middle school. I stopped at high school because it was like marching band, and it was like this is not like what I want to do. I kind of like orchestra band, but like I don't like want to do marching band. It's just an extra layer. It's like it's almost like a layer of like cheerleading involved, where it's like we got to go to camp and walk around. It's like I like the music. Like all this other stuff is not what I give a shit about. And also I got into sports. I did like wrestling heavy, and I would do that as almost like every time it wasn't the season, we were going to camps, we were going to tournaments. So it's like that was pretty much the only sport I did, but I did it all year.
I had wrestling friends. Some of my best friends were wrestlers, and I'm sure the wrestling group would ball break the shit out of you if you did marching band on the side or something like that.
They're all weirdos. That was the thing. Like it wasn't like a football vibe. It was like so many weirdos on the team.
Yeah,
because it's kind of like a weird. I mean, I don't know. It's a unique sport because it's like you just kind of go out in like your underwear and fight people on a Friday in front of them. And then it's like
there's a lot of work behind wrestling. People really don't give credit.
Yeah, you gotta love it. You can't just like fake. Because like remember senior year, it was like people would start to try to join that hadn't wrestled. Where we're at, it's not as popular. Like in the Midwest, like Minnesota and Iowa and shit. It's like people wrestle from the second they can walk. They're getting on a mat. And like around here, it's hockey. So like I never played hockey, and everything around here is like little kids on skates. It's just big hockey area. But like for wrestling, so a lot of the people don't wrestle until they get to high school unless they have like a youth program, but it's not as common.
Yeah.
So by the time you're a freshman, for a lot of freshmen, it's their first time wrestling. And when our like sophomore year, everyone graduated. So it was like 10 or 11 of our starters were sophomores, which there's only 14. So the like lion's share of our varsity team was sophomores. So for 3 years, we had the same team. So by senior year, you're going against guys who it's like their first time starting. And we had like a couple of like state guys on our team, like New England guys. There was one kid on our team that went to nationals. I think he got like a full ride to Merchant Marine. It made no sense. Like our coach was just like a hardo. He wasn't a wrestler. He was just like a weightlifting, like little Italian meatball guy who would just like, you could hear him if you watch video from like when we would wrestle. All he knew was half Nelson and like, don't be pinned. Like, just don't get pinned. He was just like a tough guy.
Just heard a lot of, oh. Like,
yeah, no, he would just like, you just hear him on the sidelines, like half Nelson, don't go to your back. He would like take you to the sideline, and like if a guy was kind of like messing with you on the mat, he'd be like, "Look at that guy." He'd be like looking at like a 17-year-old kid. He'd be like, "Would you let that guy fuck you up on the street? Don't let him do it here." He'd be like, "Fucking get him."
Dude, some of the coaches in like football and shit like that, just the most quotable shit you'll take for the rest of your life. Like you'll remember that shit forever. It's funny.
Yeah. It's a wild fucking being in sports in high school is such a funny, like, because it is the weird, like you are like, there was so many kids in the team, he wouldn't cut anybody, right? Because he was like, if you can come to practice and like get through it, I'm not going to cut you. There was like 90 kids in the team. There like wasn't enough room for everybody. But there were kids in the team. There was like one kid on the team. He like had cancer and he was like in remission now. And he was like on the team, just never going to start. Like just not good enough. We're too good for like a lot of these kids to start. Right. And the way wrestling works is like, you know, it's called like wrestle off. So like if you're like in practice, you could be like, I want your varsity spot. And you just like go at it. Just in practice. And we make a circle like we're in like a prison. Like it's just like go. And then if you win, you get the spot. So it's like the most like there's no politics or anything. It's like you just get your ass whooped. You lost your spot. Yeah. So at the same time, the best people on the team kind of get established. Yeah. And like there was kids, like I said, that were just like never going to start, but it was good enough for them to be like part of the squad. Right. Yeah. It's important life lessons you learn the rest. People would be like screwing with kids, like, cause it's just high school. Kids are just getting bullied left and right, whatever. Right. And it's like I said, half the kids in the wrestling team are just weird kids, like poor kids, like whatever. Right. None of the like most like the coolest kid, like none of that was like going on. So it was like kids would get like screwed kids in there getting and we would see it at the school and go out and like you would start like fighting with kids at school, like messing with this kid because we're like, dude, he comes every day, gets his ass whipped in practice by basically the best team in the fucking state. Is kicking this kid's ass every day. You're so much more of a pussy than this kid. Absolutely. 100%. So it's like you get a weird camaraderie out of it that you don't get in like I think other sports. Definitely special. So moving on through high school, kind of what was the plan? Like exiting high school, did you have one or? Kind of. I mean, I was doing Vogue, and then I kind of said I wanted to try to go to college. I did music for a year, and then I just didn't like the vibe of the major. What were you gonna say? So, like, what kind of like pressure did you have from your folks or family that were not really a lot? I mean, they wanted me to do what I wanted to do. Just do something. They wanted, I mean, they were pretty supportive of I mean, they supported me going to music school. So it wasn't like you got to be a doctor. Yeah. You got to do this. I mean, they supported me doing this. It's like they never really get me in a situation where like they never were like, you just can't do nothing. You know what I mean? It's like you got to do something. 100%. That's the way my mom leaned. My dad was a little more. My dad never understood the barber kind of dream.
he's no longer
Yeah.
with us. So like that's the shitty
Sorry to
part.
hear
Like
that.
now that I'm where I'm at, I kind of would love to show him. You know what I mean? I'd be like,
Definitely.
like if he saw how much I charge for a haircut and beard, he would be like, "Get the fuck out of here! There's no way." Like,
Don't even start with the pricing, dude.
right?
I go at it with people online.
He'd be like,
with
"People
the
pay
prices.
this?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm cutting doctors, Dad. I cut the merch guy for fucking Pearl Jam yesterday.
Yeah.
That was just off a walk-in. That was like luck, but like,
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, these people, it's just like you gotta get in the right spot sometimes. And I'm just super fortunate with all the scenarios I've kind of been in barbering. But what was like school like for you at that level? Like, was
like
barbering
getting into
something?
college?
Yeah,
Was
like,
barbering a thing? Never. It wasn't ever a thing.
but how did you like?
I really didn't
like,
even.
I want this to be the thing now.
Barbering. It was because so I did the music thing for a little while.
Yeah, so
didn't like the vibe, just because it's like the degree I was in was weird. It was music production and audio engineering.
You kind of
So
have
it
to
was
pick
like
one or the other. I feel
well,
like.
that was just the degree. They kind of lumped it together. So it was like a weird like science and arts degree because you're taking like all the music classes, but you're also taking like calculus and like psychoacoustics. Because some of these kids graduate and they go work at like Bose.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like legit audio engineering degree.
yeah,
Which is like a weird degree to mix together. You know what I mean? A lot of like artistic kids get into it and then just kind of grind and like burn out. But I didn't like the vibe. Also, I didn't really love being around other music students all day. Like when I'm around other musicians that I like, it's like I like kind of like garage band or like basement hip hop studio. Like music students are kind of douchey. Not all of them. But when you live with them, all the ones that are definitely going to be there. But not all of them. It was fun too. I mean, we had like a studio in our dorm. It was cool.
That's interesting.
But like,
it's definitely something to experience. But artists are hard to kind of all corral and to kind of come up with one vision or to agree with.
yeah.
You know.
But came off that. Ended up switching to go to school in Boston. I went to Wentworth. It's like behind Northeastern.
Okay.
And I did like the degree is like facilities management, which was basically like kind of like a mixture of construction management and design, because it's like you do a lot of materials classes, building infrastructure, green design, energy efficiency, a lot of this stuff that's kind of like, well, this will be a safe choice for a degree to get a job.
So at that point, you just wanted the piece of paper with.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how you.
This will
especially
help
like I'm 35. So it's like prime, you got to go to college.
We got to get the shit done.
You gotta go. Yeah. So it was like the whole conversation, like Mike Rowe hadn't come out and been like, no, go be a plumber. Like it wasn't happening yet.
Yeah.
So like you going no matter what. So it was like, whatever, this seems like something I could deal with. So did that, went to school, did the internships, did the fucking networking events, the suits, kind of hated it on some level. I kind of hate going to a job where I got to feel like I got to like hang up my personality at the door. And like, there's a lot of people at the job that kind of thrive in that environment where they're like going to talk to like HR about your behavior type of jobs, you know? Right. I also hate those gigs where it's like, you got to spend the first 2 weeks like figuring out like who you can talk to and who you can like joke with and stuff before you start.
I sold insurance. That was it for me. I was like,
yeah.
That was the last full-time like straight job I worked. That was like, yeah, I'm going after this barber thing, I think, now, because I'm done with this fucking be fake all day.
Yeah.
Chatting by the coffee room. Oh, gee, this weather. Like, yeah, it's.
Yeah. Yeah. Got like at like the fucking water cooler. Like, did you watch Jimmy last night?
Right.
We watched Jimmy Kimmel last night. The guy from The Office was on Jimmy. We love The Office. And I was just like, dude, I just like, don't you ever just want to like fucking jump off the roof? It's like a burning desire to fucking end it all. And they're like, well, no, I have Jimmy. It's like, dude, like your life's, you're okay with this?
Dude, I got the best of both because I sold insurance inside of a car dealership. So I got like 2 roads that were like, just, you see the guy like the lifer smoking a cig outside on the bench.
Car sales guys are hilarious, dude.
Yeah, it's just a crazy mix of people where it's just like ABC always be closing, and then just like
Yo, who's that guy? Who's that guy? Something Elliott, that car sales guy on YouTube. He's like one of those guru alpha male guys.
Oh god,
He's kind of like jacked, like he just looks like a hard dick all the time, just like veins popping out of like every fucking area on his body. And he's always got like a tight polo, and he's like, everybody that works in my company, you gotta have a 6-pack or you're fucking done.
Right. Fuck those guys. Yeah, no, like one side it would be like, you know, just ask them how they would like to pay, plastic or paper, and then the other side's like how my eyes look. I'm the number one salesman, but I'm high as fuck right now. Am I good?
No. Car sales is weird to me because it's like I feel like I do know everything I need to know going into that situation. Like I know how much I can afford. I know how much I want to pay. I know what kind of car I want. Honestly, when I bought this last car I have, like biggest power move, I'm kind of proud of it. Not a big deal. But I went in there and the guy was like, you want to take a test drive? And I was like, no. I just don't fucking want to take it.
I just got a new car too. No test drive.
It probably feels exactly the same. I got an Altima. I've driven an Altima before. I've driven a Civic before, a Camry. They probably all feel exactly the same. Like it's not a fucking Osprey helicopter. I kind of know what's going to be in the car, how it's going to feel.
Right.
You know, not a big deal. I don't like the test drives a power move. They're trying to get you into the car. I need to let them know immediately. Like, not only am I not in the car, I'm going to be combative this entire time. So,
right. Dude, I had the car deal done before I even got there. They had the car waiting for me. That's how far I took it. I'm like,
oh, yeah. The last one, dude, I did a lease, and the guy was like, I don't want to pay this much more. I want to check it out, go to other place. And he's like, well, don't you want to finish this up? It was like the end of the month. I didn't even like really think of it. And I was like, nah, I'm going to take your number and go check out another place to see what they can do for me. And he was like, what do you want to do? What's going to get you in this car right now? I was like, try this on the old lady. He's like, don't try this on me. He's like, no, seriously. I was like, dude, I want to pay $300 a month and I don't want to put anything down. And he was like, done. And I was like, okay, I guess so. Fine. That's what I kind of wanted anyway. Wasn't expecting you to just say, okay. So I got this thing, got the car, and then I had to come back to get like the other plates because it was going to take a couple days. So I came back and I was looking for the guy, and they were like, oh, that guy doesn't work here anymore.
Dude, what the fuck?
So he either like quit or whatever. Like he just knew he was done. So he just fucking did whatever deal he wanted.
That's kind of what happened when I got my car. I just got an EV, at least a brand new EV. Apparently that's what you're supposed to do with the EV.
Is it a Tesla? Do you get a Tesla?
No, it's a Lexus. It's a Lexus. I'm a Lexus guy. It's Lexus.
You didn't want him to key your car?
Yeah, no, I'm not playing with that. You didn't want
any keying going on?
Not playing with that.
I love the keying. We're kind of in the epicenter for that in Somerville. Like a lot of people are keying people's Teslas.
Oh, dude, someone tried to rip my license plate off the other day, I think. Like it was bent. I was like leaving the car wash. I'm like, what the fuck did this happen? Like
you got caught up in one of the rollers.
Nah.
So we're gonna rip off your license plate?
It was my mom when I was in Greece, out of town. My mom was parking in fucking Dollar General with my daughter. I'm like, why would you put yourself, let alone my car, in this situation? But dude, that's what happened. Like I called the deal was done on the phone. They're like, it'll be waiting for you when you get here. Great. Thank you so much. I get there the next day. They're like, oh, he's off today. What the fuck, dude? Are you kidding me?
That's how the car deals should be. Like cars are such a weird thing because it's like, just give me the price, dude.
Yeah, like
just give me the fucking price and I'll pay the price. Like, why are you opening? Because I understand what it is. It's like you're preying on people who are like more agreeable,
right?
And then making up for it. Like, I really have this theory that like if you just put a price somewhere in the middle of like the low end and the high end, and everyone just paid it, you would make the same amount of money.
Like
really.
I'm fair. I let them know. Listen, I get it. You guys have to do this. I want to do this. Let's be fair here and come to, you got to understand where they're coming from, but you got to be a little stubborn. Let's veer off here.
I'm going to be completely stubborn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So let's veer off here in terms of like, how many times in your life did it work out where you were stubborn, especially professionally? Something you wanted to do, a lane you wanted to take, and someone was like, don't do it like that. That's not and you were stubborn and it worked out. Like that keeps happening to me where like in the last 3 years, every time I didn't listen to someone, now of course there's, there's a certain level to it, but just on like simple decisions sometimes, like I got an accountant as a barber, filed as the S Corp, and like everyone was like, how much does this accountant cost? And I'm like, I could give a fuck how much he costs as long as I'm paying 40 grand less a year than I would have paid in taxes. And
I was gonna look into that
taxes wise, but yeah, like just little shit like that. And it's like, well, it didn't work your way because you don't have an accountant. I got an accountant. It's just like, yeah,
especially with the S Corp, because then you can pay yourself like so much less.
Yeah.
And take everything else as a draw. So you kind of win on that like payroll tax.
That's what I do.
Because they don't really tell you what is an acceptable salary, but like the Bureau of Labor and Statistics has the averages for a barber. And it's like low. It's like 35 grand a year.
Yeah, he just
because everybody lies on their taxes.
And I'm like, well, obviously that's not going to be enough. You're telling me I can just send myself money on top of that whenever? Yeah. Contributions. I'm like, oh, all right. Then great.
You can pay yourself, like what he probably has you set up for that. Like you probably pay your salary like as low as will legally not be fucking suspicious.
Yeah, it's like,
and then everything else is like an owner's draw.
Yeah, it's like $790 a week, and then whatever else I want on top of that.
Yeah. Which is like whatever. It's like as long as it's people scam the system all the time. I'm about to start doing like some. You just got to figure it out, and it's like people who haven't figured it out. Sorry, sucks to suck. I'm gonna start a company in Switzerland, and it's gonna own the intellectual property to my like name and likeness. And then every year, every dollar that I make, like in like profit, I'm just going to set that as my fee for me using the intellectual property that is owned by Jimmy Colcutt's LLC in Switzerland. So then I made zero money this year. And then they're going to invest that money in non-liquid assets like gold. Okay, I'm going to get a loan against the gold from the bank, pay myself the loan money, which is not a taxable event, sell the gold, pay off the loan, and then I didn't make any money for the whole year. But I got it all.
But you still have it. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Or I'm not going to report it. I'll just lie on my taxes. One of the two.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing once you get,
I mean, we just bought a house, so like I'm back to like cash only lying about my income.
Yeah, no, like
spend a couple of years being legit.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm like, my name's not on our house. So like I'm totally cool these days with like tracking everything, like every tip that goes in, So like it's good to put it on paper at this point of life. I feel like for me.
Yeah. Being stubborn though, I don't know, man. Like there's a couple times when in my last couple jobs where it would probably come into play, but mostly just for like, I told you so type of stuff. Like if you're like direct report manager would be like, I'm going to do it this way. And you're like, well, I think we should do it that way. And you kind of do a little reply all email like, well, I'll do whatever you want, but I think it should be done this way. And then your way would have worked. At least there's like a record of you kind of dunking on somebody,
Right.
But like with this gig, it's like the biggest thing that comes up is people combing their hair the wrong way. That's about as stubborn as I get. People combing their hair the wrong way. I'm pretty stubborn about that because I have customers that'll be like, yeah, we started combing it the other way. It looks way better now.
Yeah, no, like, that's definitely a thing.
Like, that's a hill that I'll die on. And not doing Edgar's. I won't do those.
Edgar's.
That's as stubborn as I got.
Luckily, I'm not in the market for Edgar's. Where I started cutting hair in Arizona. That was
Jesus
taught
Christ.
me how to cut hair. So I would have been in Edgar territory if I would have stayed there. But that's why I'm just grateful for every layer I've been in. I kind of got a different experience in every state. So
yeah, that's like the surface of Mars down there, dude.
Dude, I liked it. I got used to it. There's something to like you get to see every sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then like all of a sudden 70 degrees is like frigid to you, and you're like, "What the fuck's going on with me? Like, am I getting?"
I need that ocean, dude.
Well, you got a hop, skip, and jump away in Puerto Penasco, fucking Mexico, and then you got LA and San Diego, not very far away. But yeah, it was dude. I was talking to my wife the other day. I'm like, you remember in our second apartment there when we got it to 80 degrees, we would be like, isn't this nice?
That's like being in Afghanistan, dude.
Right. I was like, this is fucking great. 80 degrees. How did we do this? Like, so yeah, we did. So I want to get your take on something else here. So I couldn't let you go or continue on without bringing up the sweet barbershop, comparison or conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I feel like this when it comes to barbershops, especially barbershop owners. You're like a college football coach, right? You got like a good 4 years with these kids, and sometimes they turn coach. You get them a little longer, and then sometimes they, end up being the head OC, and then it's like kind of like a partner in a way. But all in all, you got a good 4 years before, they go from fucking UMass. Now they're down at Houston coaching, or they've gone to the NFL. They've gone to the next level, open up their own spot, whatever it may be. They're hopping around within the 4 years, but you got 4 years max, it seems, in the grand scheme. Would you tend to agree with this?
With like barbers in your shop or with your customers?
With barbers in the shop in terms of your team.
I guess so. I mean, I've outlived that, but I got like a previous relationship with the owner. We're buddies. And one of the guys at the shop has been there for 10 years.
Yeah, every situation's
yeah. But a lot of other people rotating in and out, or they become a fireman, one guy, and he'll kind of be part-time. So it's like, yeah, it does like, you got to have the shop in a situation where like it is drawing its own customers in. You know what I mean? To where we're not a commission shop.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is kind of different, but at the same time, like, I don't know. People get like, I can understand like shop owners being mad if someone like gets into their system and like yanks emails and stuff. But it's like someone just leaving and like going on their socials and be like, here I am now. Like that, I think like you should be fine with, because that's like you're working to get your customers on your schedule, on your speed. If I got people following me and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go cut here, and they follow me, it's not like I'm like stealing your book or something. Like it's just like people following me.
There's
which is like
limitations. I feel like eventually it's like, listen, you guys brought these guys through this door, but they've been my guys for a very long time, and I'm just gonna let them know I'm leaving. I'm going over here. If you'd like to come, I appreciate it. If not, God bless you. Yeah,
and also it's like whoever you fill that chair with, it's like they either are going to have a clientele, or I feel like the two best routes to go is like someone more established that has a clientele.
Yeah.
Or a younger guy, like maybe right out of barber school, who can kind of handle the growth. You know what I mean? Like they don't
the
need
molding.
the dash. Yeah. And then you don't have like bad habits and stuff you got to deal with. The thing that's weird at this industry is it's like it is saturated, but it is saturated with so many like just kind of dummies, to where like the best of the best will always float to the top and become independent and go out and do education events or do social media content stuff. Or
those are the employees you want, the ones that are their own bosses in a way. They have that mentality.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like the better they are, the more likely or more capable they'll be to like leave. So it's like
it can kind of be like banging your head off a wall at times. If it's like the dream scenario is these guys are their own boss, they're very motivated, they're very inspired, but it's going to be a little bit of a turnover with those kind of, employees. So
and I mean, like where I'm at, and like my friend owns a shop, like we're good friends, and it's like if I leave the shop, it's going to be to like a different region. So it's like there's no like I'm stealing clients. Like it's going to be too far away. Because the only reason I would leave is to like cut down commute and like be in my town that I bought a house in.
Right.
But my first step with that would be to go to my buddy and be like, because we opened up another location. So there's two. And I'd be like, want to do a third? I'll open a shop and like try to work something like that out. Like, oh, I'll do it. I'll put the money up. If I get this thing rolling, let's go partner or something, or then we can start opening up more. Like that would be my step one. And if they didn't want to do that, that'd be fine. But I would always start out being like, do you want to do something together, opening up another shop?
That's the way I've always played it. I'm right there with you. Like I never planned to be, to own my own thing. Like I've always kind of leaned towards be the best person I can be, put on display, your likability and your camaraderie and your chemistry with just being moldable and being a good teammate and just, and then it's like when the time comes where you're ready for the next step, you approach them and be like, hey, I'm ready to move up. I'm ready to do whatever. Would you like to partner? Sometimes it all works itself out. Usually if you yearn for those things, your superior, your boss is going to see it. And I mean, that kind of what you're doing is the situation I was in too. Like I've always, it's good to get close to your bosses and to be a very dependable person and be someone that, look, I'm down with the mission. I'm willing to kind of help out or, be part of your next step. But yeah, sometimes like in my case, the shop closed. It went out of it, ran out of money basically, or the money was allocated poorly. And a lot of people didn't know about it. So when this shop closes, I'm like, if there's any opportunity to do my own thing, now's the time, because there's a boatload of high tier clients that need a new home, and I'm only going to be a block away. So, that situation isn't what you normally see when, fucking Deluxe or who the fuck ever is saying like, what I'm doing wrong as a barber or why opening a suite is wrong because ABC. Like, it's a very nuanced situation.
Yeah, they're totally
like you
different.
said earlier,
They're
that's
totally
for the people looking for help or not knowing which way to turn.
I mean, opening a suite, it's like you got to have that clientele kind of nailed in, and you at least got to have the marketing nailed in because you're not going to get any foot traffic.
Right. I've learned you kind of have to change your mentality of like investing into them and just maybe sacrificing time in some instances, especially if, your rotation with your clients. The clients that you fucked over a little bit, the last haircut, or you're like, I really didn't give them the time I need, or I wasn't satisfied with whatever we did. Let me make sure I make up for it this time. Like you have to do those kind of things. I feel like in my position to just make sure you solidify that performance and the performance is not just the haircut, it's the comedy, it's the conversation, it's
everything. Yeah. I mean, like,
giving,
like 80% of the time. And me and one of the kids at the shop, Will, we've talked about this. It's like 85% of our clients, it's like the bar is so low on the cut. Right. It's like a number on the side, maybe a taper on the neck, scissors up top, you're out. They don't even want product. They're nothing. And it's like, I could teach a monkey to do this haircut. No, like maybe my detail is a little better. Like maybe my taper is nice. Maybe my lining up is nice. I touch the ears, whatever. But like skill wise, it's not that crazy. Like you see guys on Instagram where it's like every cut is like the fucking David Ortiz beard, everything's super sharp, enhancements this, fucking wave cap that, all these different mousses and stuff. But it's like all that stuff has its place, but it's like 85% of my clients don't really give a shit on that level. They want to get in, get out, they want to have fun, relax.
The promptness seems to be time and time out the most important.
Oh my God, yeah. We get in arguments with this. It's like, and again, I keep bragging, but like my buddy Will, it's like this dude will do like 3 cuts an hour, sometimes 4 if they're like really cookers. And it's like there's kids that are like in our shop that are like, I want to take more time. I want to take like 45 minutes to an hour. And it's like we don't charge the prices to justify that to me, right? Like there's one guy on our podcast, Steve. He charges like a high enough price that like an hour-long appointment is fine. Yeah. If you're doing like 6 or 8 of those, it's like you're coming out really good at the end of the day. Yeah. But it's more like he enjoys kind of chilling. He has some incense going, some plants in the shop, some music, 2-person shop.
It's whatever makes him happy, right?
The vibe is the vibe.
Yeah.
There's a guy that works at Rocco's shop that does fucking 40 haircuts a day. He starts at like 3:30 in the morning. He does like nurses and cops doing shift change. It's insane.
That's
like the
insane.
dude is just a machine. And it's like
Yeah.
they charge different price points, but it's like I'm not gonna charge a 30-minute base cut price point and take an hour. I can't do that. And this guy doesn't want to be sitting in the chair for an hour.
Right.
He's probably not going to be in there for more than 20 minutes. Sometimes it's 15. Depends what they want.
Yeah.
Like we've all had those cuts where it's like a buzz and a taper, and it's like there's only so much detail work you can do to turn this into a half-hour cut.
You're only
It's
going to
like,
mess it up if you keep fucking with those sometimes.
yeah. So it's like those guys want to get in, get out. They want to have fun. They want to enjoy the conversation. And it's like all of that other stuff that's what I think frustrates people is they get so like they like max out the barbering side. And then like all these customers come in that don't give a shit.
Right.
And it's like you need to be in a shop that those people are going to that shop. Because this shop is like dudes coming in that want a fucking simple cut. A lot of times you get some customers that want you to go all out and you have fun with those. And the more infrequent it is, the more fun it is because it's not like a grind constantly.
Yeah.
You know, I like sometimes I'll have cut where I'm like, I know this guy's going to take 45 minutes. Like a haircut and a beard and everything, and it's a big beard. It's not just a little lineup, and like, I'll just cut it off at a half hour, and maybe it'll dig into the next appointment. But the next guy is an easier cut. I'll probably end his cut at the same time it would have ended. And like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll just make up for it in the next cut. So I like kind of stacking my appointments like that, where it's like, even if I know one might go over, the next two I'll just be able to make it up. You know,
right. Yeah. You see those things coming on your schedule. And that's what I mean with promptness too. Like sometimes I'll even take longer just to be on time for someone. And then, you know, I'll extend 2 down the lane or something, two away. I'll extend theirs because I know I might fall behind if I try to jam these 2 in. And when you control your own schedule, that's the other part. It's manipulation of your schedule. Like, you
especially
know what to expect with your clientele. You know how you're going to succeed. You know when to crank it up and how to, and you know when to crank it down and how to. So,
once I know, like, if I got someone that comes like every 2 weeks and it's like a bald fade and a beard trim, and like on our booking, it'll come in as like an hour-long appointment. But it's like there's one guy that comes in where it's like he's a cop. It's like a high top fade and like a number like a 2 or 1.5 over the beard and just line it up.
Yeah,
which is like that's a half hour. Like it's not an hour.
Yeah,
I mean at least whatever if you're at like that time frame. But like every time that appointment comes in, I'm like shaving a half hour off so somebody else can book because I'm trying to max out the time. But then if someone comes in and books that I've never cut before, I'll just leave it because like I got to kind of get like a feeler. Also, the first time I cut someone's hair, I think it'll always take longer because like if they're coming to me from like a not barber situation or they just moved here and this shit is a whole rehaul, like I have cuts where it'll take longer the first time to get it to a point where from then on you're just doing maintenance cuts.
I mean that I couldn't agree more because I mean especially in my situation. Oh my God, I got a new client, someone that's not moving away. Like I got a new client. I need to make sure this experience, you know, gauging off of getting a feel for them, seeing what they're into, you know,
especially the longer hair.
Yeah.
The longer hair guys, especially when like near college, like they'll just be lacrosse guys, baseball guys. They just have long ass hair.
And half the time, I'm taking the time to get to know them on a personal level. And
100%.
I'm mixing in the hair and then just remembering a small thing, like, you know, it's like I went to school in Louisiana. Yeah, two lane, right? It was like, yeah. You just remember a tiny thing.
You gotta know that stuff.
Yeah, that's
you gotta be a collector. I like being a collector of hobbies. You know what I mean? Like I always get into new hobbies, and then like by the time you're in your 30s, if you do that, you kind of like enjoy that learning phase of like getting into something. Like the music, I got into like doing leather craft. I started making like wallets and stuff.
Okay.
Or I got into like the Instagram stuff or the comedy stuff or like whatever. It's like if you just pick stuff up, like I did gaming, I did like a little computer programming just for fun.
Yeah.
Built my PC. So there's all this like books, movies, like all this stuff. You eventually start to be able to have conversations with like a broad array of people.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes I'm working out a story too, like a comedy bit. And it's just like I'm working out with all these clients, and once they come back, it's like, okay, I recorded the special. It's over. You got to work.
Oh
on
yeah.
that. Like,
It was a guy that worked in our shop that like after like he had been a customer and then he started working and I was at a different shop, but it was like, yo, you just talk to everyone you talk to all day. You tell them the same thing.
yeah, no, that's another
And
reason
I'm
why
like-
I'm happy to not work with other barbers. Because
Well, that's like, well, I was trying to tell him like, dude, like it's a 10 o'clock show, a 10:30 show.
yeah,
11.
this is how it
I'm like,
goes.
I'm not
That's
going
a
to
good
come
way
up
to
with
put
a
it.
new conversation every half hour.
No,
I mean,
why
if,
not?
like,
I got a
if you-
great fucking story of this kid sneezing in a napkin and blowing snot over my bald head like a cartoon on the airplane. Someone almost died on my airplane on the way back from Greece. That's a
There you
fucking
go.
story that everyone
You're
can
telling
relate.
everybody. You're telling everybody.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, you ever had someone die on your airplane? Oh, this guy had a heart attack. Like, everyone's got an airplane story, right? So
Dude,
that's got to
the
take
2
up your
weeks-
whole appointment.
The 2 weeks like before the Super Bowl, every single client, yo, Super Bowl coming up.
There
It'd
you
be
go.
crazy. And then the 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, yo, that was a hell of a Super Bowl. It's like there's always some bullshit going on that you can just
Right.
kind of
Then after
anchor
that,
on that.
Valentine's Day starts working in. And
Yeah. That's why I was saying, like up here behind me, like you can see in my mirror, like all these stickers here. But it's like if you like zoomed in on one of these, whether or not it's mine, I can't remember if this is mine or not. But like I would have had like stickers on my mirror of like stuff that I'm into, right? Like
yeah.
a comic book thing or like a Star Wars thing or like an esports team that I was following some game or like a computer like subreddit sticker, just like deep cut stuff that's like deep enough that like if someone's into that and they see that, they know that it's like, oh, you like that, and immediately it cuts through all the like questioning and trying to figure out a conversation starter, and then
That's
they
why I
just
got
write
it on
up.
the top of my refrigerator when they're paying. I'll lay the POS
yeah.
right there, and they see Joe Pesci. Funny how? You're in the Goodfellas. Like,
Oh yeah. We have the painting in the shop right now. There's like a
There
bunch
you
of
go.
there's a bunch of Sopranos, and then there's the painting of the dogs on the boat
oh yeah,
when he's
dude,
in his mother's house or whatever.
yeah.
It's funny. Some people recognize it. Some people have no idea what it is.
So I'm gonna go through some quick fire questions to end, and then we'll wrap it up, my man. All
Sounds
right.
good. I got some Cinco de Mayo tacos to get to.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was gonna wonder about that. So we kind of hit on it. Best show to watch in the shop.
Oh,
What are you taking right now?
man? That's tough because we just kind of always put like music and shit on. But I mean,
never pivot.
I
to
guess
a show.
Sopranos. I mean, I would put Sopranos on.
Yeah, I got Sopranos. You know what I dove into, and I fucking enjoyed it. And it was kind of during the slow season, so I kind of got to enjoy it a little bit more than most, I feel like. But Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. That show was just kind of, it's that 15, 20 minutes an episode. It's just kind of perfect because it's kind of dated, but you're kind of seeing these comedians like fucking Trevor Noah or someone like that. You're just like, dude, this is when he first started. This is when Jimmy Fallon first got the Tonight Show. And so it's kind of interesting to kind of see how these people panned out that are getting interviewed.
Yeah.
with Gary.
The only other thing I would put on in the shop is like, because I'll usually just throw on like a YouTube like New York jazz, hip hop, lo-fi playlist. It'll just play for like 5 hours with like visuals.
YouTube's underrated. You can fall.
Dude, that's the only streaming service that I'll never cancel. I have YouTube Premium. I feel like the best thing YouTube could do is give everybody YouTube Premium for free for like 3 months. Because if you get used to not having ads and you go back, you'll never, ever not have YouTube Premium.
I got a bone to pick with YouTube because I got YouTube TV. And when I got it, I was like, I got it for football season and everything for the ticket. And,
They black it out.
Well, no, I thought I was getting premium with it. I'm like, now I got no commercials on top of having YouTube. What? I still have commercials on regular YouTube? This is bullshit.
YouTube TV, I don't even give a shit about TV because I'll just steal that shit off. Like, is the streaming platforms getting too crazy and they're putting ads on everything? It's like the only two things that made it better was you could binge everything day one,
right?
And the ads there's no ads. That's why we liked it. And everybody that was too young to realize the scam that was getting ready to go on was like, this is going to be, dude, like this forever. No,
this is the new
they're going to
cable.
put the ads on because cable is like that. Cable is you pay for that shit and there's commercials.
Yeah.
Network TV, like NBC, like over the air HD shit, like that is like you don't pay for that, so the commercials are justifiable.
Right.
Cable commercials are as unjustifiable as streaming, so of course it was going to come to streaming.
Yeah.
But I use YouTube all day, dude. I can't have commercials on that shit.
Yeah, dude. That upset me. So here's another one.
Go.
How hard to push for a Google review?
This comes in a way. When you get a bad review, you spend like 5 days pushing to offset it.
Ah, got you.
I guess. I mean, Google, all these reviews, it's like I've literally gotten a customer or two from our replies to bad reviews.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people just give a bad review.
That's actually an interesting angle because I never thought of it.
Somerville's a very polarizing city. There's a lot of townies, old school people, they've been there forever, and it's very gentrified. So there's a lot of students and stuff too. And it's like very conservative people that have been there forever versus very liberal, like people that blew into town like 5 days ago.
Clashing.
Yeah,
music,
so it's clashing.
You play music, that's all it could take.
Of course. And it's like somebody would give a review, and it's like, you know, somebody literally, I think we have a review where they were like, I don't know, it's kind of clicky in there. They were talking about sports, I didn't feel comfortable. And it's just like,
welcome to the barbershop.
Well, that's like, yeah, that's not even worthwhile to like dispute. You know what I mean? But it's like they have just as much of an ability to give you a 1-star as anybody else. So there was a restaurant in town that the guy would like literally, this Greek restaurant in Somerville, this guy would get on there, and if someone gave him a 1-star, he'd be like, how about this? How about you come into the restaurant and suck a fart out of my ass? How about that? With a straw. He would just talk shit to people on the thing, and it became kind of like legendary around. So like our owner would get on there, like somebody during like after COVID, you know how like you could barely do anything.
Right.
So we couldn't use a straight razor for a while because I don't know.
Geez.
COVID's like fucking HIV now. You can't use a fucking straight razor. Like you're already here. What difference does it make?
Yeah.
But it's like we couldn't give this guy a straight razor in the back of his neck because of COVID. And he gave us a 1-star. And then we went on Yelp and we were like, hey, he gave us a 1-star for like not breaking the fucking law. And they were like, nothing we could do. It's out of our hands. And I was like, it's a website. What do you mean there's nothing you can do? You could go into the CS and fucking turn this into Google if you wanted to. You could do anything. It's a website. It's not anything. Yeah. You can do whatever you want. You own it. And they just refuse to remove a review for like us not breaking the rules. I was like, at that point, I was like, I don't give a shit about reviews anymore.
Right.
Because I don't even use them. Like if I go on to a restaurant's Yelp, it's just to look at the pictures.
Right.
People's reviews are usually bullshit because 90% of the time they only go on because they're pissed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Sometimes it says a lot about the person reviewing. Like, you're like, okay, people can kind of see through this. Like, if this woman's a psycho. That's all there is.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't matter. And we've started replying to some people that have been leaving, like, you know, kind of cornball reviews where you could just be like, you're fucking Karen, you know, shut up.
Right.
And then, like, I've had customers come in and be like, yo, I came. And they're kind of like Somerville guys, Boston guys, you know.
Yeah.
Somerville, Cambridge, I don't know how like familiar, but it's like it would be like Brooklyn and Queens to New York City. Right. But it's like we're not part of Boston, but it is that kind of setup where it's like we're right over the river. We're like right there. Somerville is like next to Boston. So it is kind of like all homogenous in a way. It's weird. People like not from Boston are like, but you're not in Boston. But I'm like, I could throw football and hit it. It's just small.
Right.
So like there's a lot of those guys, those like towny guys all over the place. And he'll come in and be like, dude, I fucking came in because I saw you own a fucking talking back to one of the yuppies on the reviews. Like heated. I was like getting fired up about the review fucking replies.
You were fucking ripping that kid apart on the Google.
Like, just getting fired up about it. So I was like, that's the thing. It's like I've never had anyone be like, I didn't go because of the reviews. But I have heard people be like, I did come because you were dunking on somebody in the review.
Right.
So I don't really know how much it matters, but if someone gives us a 1-star for like eating a jelly donut before giving them a haircut, we have a review like that.
Yeah.
They were like, he ate a jelly donut with his bare hands. Like, what the fuck? I didn't use fork and knife.
These are
but
great.
like, and it's shit like that. So I'll be like, for a week,
hit a new level that I never thought.
Oh, reviews is a great topic. I'm gonna add it to my list. We're gonna talk about this at the fucking pod this week. Dude.
Yeah, do it, dude. Like I don't push. That's part of something I kind of like champion. I do not push it at all. Like my I use Square for my like platform to book and
Yeah, we do
pay and
too.
everything.
We do
And
too.
like it automatically sends you asking you to review Matt on Square. So I have a lot more reviews on Square because it pushes it. But like Google, it's kind of low, but and still it sort of helps me because people in my area, they just kind of like sort top rated closest to me. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's all the guys that worked in my barbershop, which is fucking crazy.
Well, if you're above, like I think if 4 or 4.5, depends on how the filtering works, you're fine. Because the I think the most drilled down you can filter is 4 and above or 4.5 and above. I don't think you can drill down like 4.8 and above, like shit like that. So whatever the tightest margin of like getting filtered into the top list is, you're fine. Gotcha. So as long as you're above like a 4 or 5, I don't think it matters a ton.
Yeah, like that dude from Pearl Jam. That's how the hotel he was staying at was closer to the suite that some of my ex-coworkers work in. I was like, well, why didn't they push you that way? And then he's like, well, they just said it'd be cheaper over here. And I was like, you might be in the wrong place. But but no, he was cool. It would all worked out. But that's a cool little take there on so I don't know if you saw this the other day, but there's a gentleman, I'm sure you've seen him. His name's Blur Gotti on Instagram. And you familiar with this kid?
Let me see. I might have.
Blur Gotti. He's living a 15-year-old's dream is the best way I can describe him.
Mountain Dew every day.
Probably watching Scarface.
Oh, I know. I've seen this guy.
3 to 5 times a month, probably Scarface.
I have. What?
But so he had a take the other day.
Barber school?
Yeah, dude. I was like, am I confused here? Am I missing something?
Was this the misconceptions video about like the kind of cuts you're going to be doing?
No. It was like people coming out of people should have experience. If they want to go to barber school, they should have experience before they go to barber school. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Am I hearing this right? Like, what? Like, okay, we all dabble in the garage or whatever the fuck, but like, isn't barber school the what's supposed to kind of give you that foundation and doing things the right way, getting the right set of tools? And he was like, people aren't ready when they come out of barber school. They're only doing 1,000 hours. I'm like, how's that the fucking barber's fault? That's the fucking legislature's fault. That's not.
No, my barber school opinions are like barber school is a complete scam. Like, and not that like you have to go to barber school in some states. Like in Massachusetts, you have to go.
I got lucky. I got a good school, so I have.
Yeah, there's no.
I think I've learned a great foundation from my.
I'll just lay it out in Massachusetts as close as I can cut it without being like charged with like libel. I'm because the guy that owns the barber school also owns 2 other schools in Massachusetts, and he's also very active with the barber board, which is a bunch of like elderly women who are like, you know, cosmetologists. Like there's no real like place for barbers at all. It's all just legislature happening around you.
Right.
And I mean, I'd like to get more involved in it because it's like, it just seems like it's like you get your license and you move on and you don't really care anymore. But that's why the problem exists, because it's like you don't give a shit. You're right. Working and you have a life. So it's like I get it, but at the same time,
yeah, they don't give a shit, dude. They just the guy that like, I don't even know if it's about money. I just feel like they don't want
it's
to
about
do
money
work
because the guy that owns the school, and it's like, you know, it is a weird little kind of like mini college so that he can basically get like fucking Fannie Mae loans.
Yeah,
it's a level beyond a technical school here, but you need 1,000 or 15, I forget which one it is, but it's like you cannot be an apprentice and get your license. You have to go to school. So like there is no reason for it to be good other than you have to go. So it just sucks. You're doing like on our list of like requirements, you got to do like a certain number of this, a certain number of that. I think like the number one thing is customer cuts. It's like 40 or something like that. And then like the second
I haven't heard that be like a prerequisite at all.
Oh yeah, so you have to like do like this many shampoos, this many like
40. That's it.
Well, it's like 45, 40, but there's like other shit. But then like the second highest number on the list is perms on a mannequin head. You got to do 30, and it's like no one does that.
No, they
fiance
took that
works in the
shit
salon,
off
they don't
the
fucking do it.
curriculum my first year in barber school. Like they just took it off. I was like, oh,
Well, this is
thank
what they
God.
do in masses. Like when the shit first opened in the 70s and shit, it was like 80s, like perms were popping, right? So they were like, we're doing the most up to date stuff. Now that no one's doing that anymore, they're saying like, well, the fads will come back around. So you want to have a wider breadth of knowledge. But it's like when you opened the school, you weren't doing greaser cuts from the 40s and saying it might come back. You're doing what's happening now. So
Right.
you're not just, that's not your philosophy. You just haven't changed the curriculum in 50 years. And
That should be
now
left
it's
up to the particular school if they want to do fucking perms or not. Like,
well, but the state is like what's requiring all this shit.
yeah,
Like,
that's
you
what I'm
need to
saying.
do-
Like,
you need to
that's
do a
my
couple
whole
of panels.
genesis of this argument. I'm like, why is Blair Gotti blaming the school? Like, it's the fucking laws. Like,
Well,
the
I
school
just-
can only
in-
jam so many fucking information in 1,000 hours or 800
in
hours.
our particular case, I know that the guy that runs the school is heavily involved in the state, and if anybody wanted to open a school to compete with him, he would make it very difficult. So it's like, but at the same time, being like, because I saw other people have takes where they were like, oh, when you go to barber school, people are like, they're not teaching us how to cut hair. But he's like, you got to have initiative. And it's like, I can get on board with that. Like, have initiative, sure. But like at the same time, we are paying, at least where I went, like $15,000 to go to school. And you get basically the shittiest tools you can get. Not that like a 76 is shitty, but it's like you're getting all corded stuff, old stuff. Like you're not getting the best of the best. They're giving us tools they're not teaching. We never learned how to use a feather razor in school. We were told that thinners were not like allowed to use at school. It was cheating. They didn't give us a shaver, even though every single solitary barbershop you go into will have a foil shaver in it as part of their kit.
So
they just kind of neglect it.
Yeah.
They neglect it. And it's like, yeah, there's something to be said for having initiative and going and learning on your own. But when you're forced to pay for this thing and it gives you nothing other than the legal ability to go take the test, it's a scam. It's a scam. They pay these people that teach in this fucking place like $20 an hour. So you're pretty much guaranteed that every teacher in there is going to be a fucking schlub, dude. Because who's going to be getting $20 an hour when they could be in a shop making fucking 80?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a joke, dude. The whole setup is a joke. They teach you nothing.
I was lucky.
There's a lot of good ones out there, and it's
good.
Where you got your license? Can you be an apprentice?
I believe so. I believe that's an option.
When you have options like that, the schools are forced to be better.
Yeah.
You're in a situation where like they have to compete. Where we are, not only do they not have to compete with people just being apprentices, they don't even have to really compete with the other schools because the same guy owns all 3 big schools in the state.
Yeah.
So it's a
that's
total
good for
bunch
people
of
to hear because every state's different.
It's a scam.
This
it's
guy's
a whole
got
scam
fucking monopoly on the fucking education.
Yeah, monopoly on the education. The guy owns like the Teen Miss America affiliate in Massachusetts too.
He's got too
which
much
was like he's got some fucking shit going on that I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you trying?
What is going on with this guy?
What are you trying to fucking do over here with this? This is a weird overlap in business.
Right.
But they make tons of money.
What would be your solution to Blair Gotti? I think it's a simple solution, but what would you? Because his problem was like
be every single. First of all, every state you should be allowed to apprentice into this thing, because there is nothing that I learned in school that was of the value that I paid for it. I got nothing out of it. I taught myself everything. All I learned at school was how to take the test that they made and then made this curriculum around it. So it's a whole circular bunch of bullshit. It's kind of like the college thing at large. It's like all these jobs require a college degree, so they have to make up degrees to go to these jobs that don't really need college degrees. Every job I ever had in the corporate world, they were always like, forget everything you learned in college. We'll teach you how to learn or teach you how to work here. So it's like none of this is necessary. Nothing I learned in barber school I use on a daily basis. It's all just repetition, doing it. Like the only thing that the test is even important for, they don't test how good your haircut is. They test like if you know how to do like first aid, they like simulate a cut, and like the sterilization. That's really all it is. And the test in Massachusetts is low-key kind of racist too, because like you cannot do the test on black hair. What? They just flat out won't allow it. You have to have straight hair that you can do like scissor cuts and all this bullshit with. But it's like, what if a guy, it's like everybody gets their dad or their uncle or their grandfather or whoever to be their model. So the fucking black guy comes in, he wants to get his dad, and he can't. He has to go to the bus station, get some fucking like guy that's hanging around there. It's insane. And also considering the fact that the quality of the cut does not matter. The kind of cut, the style of the cut does not matter. It's just a sanitation.
Were they checking like to see if there was like a corner created and things like that?
What do you mean?
Like I remember them checking to see if you like on the occipital or something, like see if there's you created a corner and they
no. The quality of the cut was not.
They checked all that shit in Arizona.
No,
dude.
Here's what they do. We
did a full shave in Arizona on top of it.
Nope, we didn't do any of that. They look on the floor. They look on the floor and they see kind of if all the hairs are the same size. That's literally like what they look to see.
Completely different.
You got to hang your trash bags on the thing. One of them has to be labeled trash. One of them has to be labeled towels. You need to have alcohol labeled alcohol. It's like all this shit that's just kind of bureaucratic, but doesn't really matter. I mean, we're just going to have Barbicide. Like whether or not it says Barbicide and it doesn't say Kool-Aid on the bottle, like it's kind of irrelevant. This is a professional environment. We all know where the Barbicide is. Like all these little things that they just kind of making up to make themselves valuable. It doesn't matter. Dude, when we were in barber school, they used to have the perfect attendance award, which I totally fried from day one because
that was the Van Wilder of barber school. You want to know how long it took me?
You have no idea. I totally figured it out where it was like they give you 10 days absence where like if you go over 10 days, you have to pay to continue going because it's too much time. Because it's too much time. Because then it's like you're taking up time that somebody else
can't make more money faster. God forbid that.
That's the thing. So if you go, right, it is a 6-month program part-time or full-time, right? Or 9 months, whatever it is. But if you go over by a couple of days, then that jams up because they take a new crop of kids every month.
Yeah.
So if you go over by a couple of days and you're into the next month, that'll jam them up one spot. It'll work its way back throughout the curriculum. One slot will then be taken up an extra month, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they're in their best interest to give out these little. They're trying to like psyop the students into being like excited about having perfect attendance when really it's just they want you out so they can get another seat in because every seat $15,000. If you have 10 kids new and they had night school, they had cosmetology school, they had nails. So that's 4 classes right there. And new 10 kids every single month is basically 10, 20, 30, 40. So it's like $600,000 basically at the end of the year a month.
Dude, guess how much my barber school, 1,500 hours. Guess how much they charged for tuition?
I want to say something low just because you sound like surprised of my number, but $9,000.
Dude, you hit it right on the head. It was like
it
$9,000.
Yeah.
About $1,000 you had to put down to get your kit. They got you just, the big 3.
Dude. Ours was 1,000 hours, 15 large, dude.
Dude, guess how many eras of students I went through? How many? I was like getting close with people, and you're like, oh, fuck, they're going to be gone. It's going to be a whole new
graduating.
Dude, 3 different classes I blew through.
Did you guys have to do perms on mannequin heads?
So we started, and then they're like, hey, they just took this off the curriculum, so we don't have to do this bullshit anymore.
We used to have like a head.
Thank God.
We used to have one head that was all the way permed, and we would just keep it. And then like you'd show the teacher a half permed head, and then like a half hour would go by, and then you'd go up to them with a full one, and they'd be like, okay. And they'd be like, you did one. Sign it up.
The only thing, I mean, it was ran just like a regular barbershop. We were just like, we shut down for 1 hour a day to do our like quizzes. We had to pass every quiz in the book. Then you take like a cumulative one, and then you got to take a written and a practical exam for your boards. And we had to have a model, everything like that. But
we would split it.
Just like it was ran by very good people that were like self-made, came from nothing. That they drilled home professionalism. We had to wear a shirt and tie in fucking Arizona.
We're all, which I don't like because like as a barber that's like considering going to school to do education and to try to scope out potential new barbers to bring into the shop, I don't like the suit and tie thing because I want to know what's their vibe because that's important. Yeah, that's completely important. And also I want to know what they think is like okay to come to a shop dressed like.
Yeah.
Because taking a bunch of people who being a barber is already a weird kind of cut loose from society job, making them dress like penguins to go in there is a stupid waste of time. I don't give a shit what anyone has to say about that.
Yeah, no, I know why they did it, but like I was never that guy. Like
I don't even find it to be professional.
No,
wearing a suit and tie to go be a plumber is not professional. You're not dressing appropriately.
If I see someone in a shirt and tie, I walk in, I'm intimidated.
Well, it's intimidating, but it's like it's unnecessary, and it's like a lack of understanding about like a guy who's a electrician, right? Shows up in a shirt and tie. It's like that is stupid. You don't look more professional as an electrician because you're wearing a fucking suit and tie. You look like you don't really get what's going on here, right? And I understand, like, yeah, here's what you should do. Have some clothes that you can't wear. Be like no sandals, no open toe anything.
Right.
No, like whatever expletive t-shirt. Like, yeah, have some like fucking, but like what, like making a bunch of barber students dress in a shirt and tie to cut like elderly people and homeless people for $5 a head is like, what are you even doing? What is the point of that? It doesn't serve a purpose, and I'm never gonna make someone wear that at a shop.
What's your take on shorts in the shop?
I like it.
Dude, when I do it, like, I kind of don't like to do it, but when I do it, it's like, oh God, this is so fucking great. Like,
I don't know. I mean, we get the AC, so it's not a huge deal.
No, it's not. It's
most
not
of the time,
like,
I'm wearing like
thing for me. Like, I'm a shorts guy, but like, I don't like to cut. I'm like on the spectrum when it comes to like getting hair on me. So like any extra shit that gets into my sock, like I don't wear my good shoes at the shop. Like I phase out.
Oh, me either.
Those are the shoes I'm phasing out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wear like New Balance, like foam robes. They're pretty good.
Yeah, like
I can't wear like I knew a kid that used to wear like Yeezys to the shop, and they're like those are like knitted.
Yeah,
I just feel like
whatever hair is gonna bounce off of and not thread in, I'm wearing that. Like
yeah. I can't do the nice shoes at the shop.
Right. So Jim,
I don't really even wear shorts for that.
In closing, tell us something that people don't know about your personal life that you'd like to share. Someone that just sees your barber memes. I mean, we shared a lot. If you can't figure
it's
out
tough,
anything.
man. I just throw it all out there online. Like I don't know. I mean, I do like to do music. I like to do like leather work. I bought a house, Portuguese. Honestly, where I moved is like accidentally the most Portuguese.
You are Portuguese.
No. I am. But my mother made a real point of like being able to talk in front of me without me knowing what she's saying. I can talk to them a little bit.
My wife went to Brazil for the first time last summer.
Yeah, see, that's one thing. Like, no, I can tell when my family's from the Azores, which is like islands, which they talk very different. I can tell when my aunt is like talking to her friends from Brazil.
Okay.
Because Brazilian Portuguese is so different.
Gotcha.
It's like over enunciated. They kind of sound like deaf people. They're like very like obrigado, like they're like over enunciating everything. Whereas like Azorean Portuguese is like all these like World War II era German fucking expats that came in there. A lot of Jewish people that came in from World War II, just like refugees. So it's like kind of phlegmy, almost like Yiddish or German. Is weird. Like I could never like spell a Portuguese word based on like someone in my family saying it because it's like the end is all cut off and it doesn't sound the same. Okay. It's very weird language. If you try to learn it online, it's actually hard to learn online because it's usually Brazilian Portuguese because it's the biggest market.
That's something I feel like people would never know about you. So that's a good one.
I mean, if you see me in person, you'd know about it.
Gotcha. We just got back from Greece and my wife's from Italy.
Yeah.
So like we're just like seeing commercials on TV and we're like, this sounds Italian, but there's just a couple extra thrown in. And it's just like
maybe Tunisian or some shit like that, dude.
Yeah, it's just the same vibe.
I'm like a super like GeoGuessr nerd too. So like anytime we get into like international stuff, like there's all these. You ever play that game?
No. Explain it.
GeoGuessr. It's basically like they use the Google Street View and Google Maps API and they turned it into a game. So it's like it'll drop you into a Google Street View somewhere on the planet, and you have to drop a pin.
This is pretty fucking dope.
You have to drop a pin on the map, and there are modes where like you can look around, you can't move. Most of the modes I'll play, you can kind of walk around, and you'll be able to see like languages on signs and like license plates, kind of, and maybe a URL somewhere, like, you know what I mean? Like you could, but people get real serious about it. They're like, yo, these street lights, you only ever see these in Hungary. Like, you know what I mean?
Held by the marble. There's something going on.
Yeah. So some things will happen like repeatedly where it's like, it kind of looks Italian, but it kind of looks like Arabic everywhere.
Right.
And it's like Tunisia every time. Tunisia, like clockwork. If you see Chinese stuff, I'll be like, does it look like shit? Like, does it look like a port? Because if it does, then it's either Taiwan or Hong Kong. But if it looks like nice and ritzy and tropical, and you see English represented equally to Chinese characters, Singapore every time.
Singapore.
Because China doesn't have Google, so you can like rule China out every single time.
Gotcha. Okay.
These are all like extremely. I've looked at this game and been like, okay, where's the sun? Where's the sun at? It's in the northern hemisphere. We're on the southern hemisphere.
Well, Jim, I really appreciate you coming on tonight, lending your time on Cinco de Mayo, about to tear up some tacos.
We're tearing them up. We got to do it again. We got to do a sports one.
Yeah, dude, I'm definitely down. Once football season starts, I'll be poaching some old guests to try to bring on to get their takes on just the league. I'm more of an NFL guy, but
yeah.
I bet
I'm
college
down.
too,
I'm liking our moves in the off season.
You're a Pats guy.
Patriots. Yeah.
Dude, I love their moves.
Well, we got Dig. They've been so garbage with like their O-line. So like whatever quarter, because I hate drafting skill positions.
Yeah.
I just feel like it doesn't translate well from college to the league, especially when we're drafting like the QB from fucking Bama, who's surrounded by solid gold and he's doing good. But it's like, he's surrounded by the best players in the league, or in the college.
We should have saw how Mac Jones was going to turn out.
Mac Jones was fine, but they also didn't do him any favors with the O-line, and they're not doing this guy any favors. And now they just drafted a guy. What's his name? God damn, we drafted him 4th. I should know his name.
Is he a
Campbell?
Defense?
Campbell. I believe his name's Campbell. Yeah, he's an offensive lineman. And he gets up there and he's like, they're like, what are you going to do when you get onto the team? He's like, I'm going to defend Drake May with my life.
Oh, okay. He's on the O-line.
Just a good old boy. Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Which we got
the most
Diggs,
time out of those guys, too.
Huh?
You can get the most time out of those guys, too.
Oh, yeah. I feel like the linemen are the best translation from college to the pros.
You almost always get a second contract out of those guys.
Yeah. Skill positions is tough. Yeah, Will Campbell. Yeah, this guy's going to be a fucking. I hope, because I love these athletic linemen guys, especially in the corner. I hate seeing these big giant guys where they like cut back 90 degrees and they just let him go.
Yeah.
You know, they just let him go. Like they stand up straight before the play's even over. Like he's by me, whatever.
Step like, up in the pocket. He's coming wide.
Yeah. Because Brady used to get so much time in the pocket, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was just unacceptable amount of time you got. Now it's like gone. They just don't get any time. And people are like, they suck. It's like they don't have time. Right. And we got Stephon Diggs now, which it's like people are like, he's going to get over targeted. But I mean, just having him out there will cut down on everybody else's coverage anyway. So it'll just open up everybody else's fucking ability to catch. I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be good for Drake May, too, because like I feel like every young quarterback has to experience that guy that's like, give me the ball every fucking huddle. He's that guy.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs. Definitely.
Yeah,
I didn't realize they got him. They must have just landed him.
They signed him like a month ago.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
I don't know. I'm glad the coaching move. Like I like Mayo, but it's like, and I kind of am also like against like in a little bit. What's his name? Vrabel.
I love Vrabel.
I love Vrabel, and I like what he's done as a coach. But at the same time, I'm like clean house. No more Belichick guys that have ever even come in contact with him. But like, if it was going to be
kind of stray away from that eventually,
if it was going to be anybody, Vrabel's good because at least he's got a track record as a coach. Whereas like Mayo,
took bad Tennessee teams to the playoffs.
Yeah. Mayo's just a craft guy, and he's kind of a New England guy. I mean, he's still in New England. He lives like near Foxborough. He has like a charity event he does in Massachusetts every year called the Mayo Bowl. It's like a big bowling charity event.
Yeah, I was pulling for him.
He's been around forever. So he's a super New England guy now. And I know him and Kraft are friends, but it's like at the same time, I'm like, dude, just fire everyone that was ever under Belichick. Also, this is a horrible time to be a fucking Belichick fan because he is just looking like a fucking dummy in the fucking down there with that girl that he's dating. Dude,
he's looking like a simp to the 1000th degree.
Well, I don't know what she knows, what video or photos of him she has. It's insane. It is insane, bro.
It's like it's starting to get people a little concerned.
I'm weirded out by it. This is like a 75-year-old whatever man who is being like, he's like doting over this fucking 24-year-old dumbass. Who 24 is like, if I met a girl that was 24 that was like, we're doing this, it'd be like, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know anything. What do you know? It's like that Hawk Tua girl. It's like when she started her podcast. It's like, what the fuck do you know? You're doing a podcast. What are you going to talk about? Fucking ice cream flavors? You've never done anything. This fucking girl's 24. She's dating Bill Belichick.
A guy of this stature, like
she's got a real estate portfolio now. She's going to college. She's like directing interviews, telling people what not to ask, what to ask. What the hell does she know?
Right?
What dirt does she have on this guy, dude?
Yeah, there's something odd there. There's something.
You're talking about a guy. You're talking about a guy who's literally got the balls to look at the person who pulled out the fucking Super Bowl the year prior with what's his name when we played against the Seahawks. I can't even remember the guy's fucking name. Our cornerback there. And he pulled him out of
well, he couldn't play the game right that day.
No, he could have played the game, but he was like fucking Belichick's like daughter.
Stephon Gilmore, no.
No, it wasn't Gilmore. No.
Oh,
I can't.
The fucking one before the generation.
It was from like West Virginia, dude.
God damn.
We got rid of him real quick. Fucking Malcolm Butler.
Oh, Butler, yeah.
Butler. Yeah. We didn't play him because Belichick was like, I think he was like hanging out with Belichick's son's wife or something. And Belichick was like, I'm tossing the whole game now. I'm not letting you play.
You were out last night past curfew.
Yeah, no, it was so this for him to be like kind of acquiescing to this like kid that he's dating.
There's something just soulless about him right now.
Something's going on. It's tough to see, bro.
Yeah,
it's tough to see your heroes be fucking brought down by 24-year-olds.
But best believe if he fucking somehow wins and wins a lot, it's kind of gonna be like, damn, he's doing something right. What's he doing?
Whatever, he'll win. College football's stupid. College football is all about recruitment. Yeah, that's why Prime can go to like the dumbest colleges and just instantly make them enormous.
Yeah,
and there's like the Wild West. Like he went to that fucking where was he in Jackson or some shit, and they just fucking Walmart came in and like rebuilt their stadium. You could just like kind of do that shit in college, where like go to the most defunct, like neglected school, and if you're famous enough, just get like millions of dollars pumped into it, and then they're just good. Like Bama's not good. Saban recruited the best guys ever, and you could just do that in college. There's no draft, so the best kids want to play with the best guys. They can all just go and play there.
Right. That's why this like, kids getting paid thing could be a good thing in that aspect, especially.
It's a good thing insofar that like their image and likeness is being used to make money.
Yeah.
And they are adult citizens in the country.
There won't have to be all these resources exerted when there's an investigation, who got paid, when they find.
Bro, if you're a college student, fashion student, whatever, and you have an Instagram account and you're sponsored by Adidas on your Instagram account to promote them, I see that as being no different. Like these kids are just literally at the end of the day, they're citizens. They are adults. The fact that they're going to your college is irrelevant. Their name and image is being used to generate money that they're not necessarily seeing the back end of. Right. So I'm not saying like pay them like a salary to go to college, but like, yeah, if a kid gets on a Wheaties box, like you shouldn't be making that money as the fucking college.
Yeah, it's silly, dude. But Jim, really appreciate you, my man.
Definitely.
You have a good night. We'll circulate this thing around. I'll try to have it out by Sunday, if not Monday. I'll send you a copy as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Can't wait to see how it comes out, man.
All right, brother. Jim, have a good night. Enjoy, brother.
We'll see you, man.
Talk to you soon.
We'll talk.